To the 2014 North Brantford Memorial Day Parade, and what a great day it is weather-wise. Mother Nature is cooperating as we remember those who served our country. Joining me today is the guy who has his pulse, or his finger on the pulse of North Brantford. He is the publisher of the Tutucket Times, Frank Mentone. Frank, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my first year doing this, so I'm really excited about being here.
We have got a good turnout here today at the right in front of the Northford store, intersection of Route 17 and Route 22. And as you can see, there's a good turnout, people of all ages. The parade just kicking off a few moments ago, and the first units are just a few feet from approaching the reviewing stand area here. And Frank, typically we see a lot of dignitaries, elected officials, and
yeah, they come out. Usually the mayor is here, the Mayor Anthony Candelora, his brother's the state rep, Vin Candelora. I think I saw the town manager already, Mr. Paulus. And, you know, we get a good group of the community. It's a small community, but they all come out and they're ready to go for a parade and things like that.
Frank, here we see the lead unit, one of the North Brantford Police Department vehicles, patrol vehicles. Good, of course, that they have four-wheel drive because of our famous weather here up in the Northeast.
Yeah, those are some new ones. We used to have the regular cars, but I think now we've gone to the vehicles like that, and we got
this year's
the K9
Memorial
unit.
Day Parade kicked off by the North Brantford Police Cruiser.
There we see the North Brantford Police Department along with their police dog, instrumental in a lot of, I'm sure, arrests and seizures of narcotics and such.
There's Chief Kennelly there with the police department. I always marveled since I've been coming to these how his wife or his cleaner gets his shirt so white and stiff and starch.
North Brantford Police Honor Guard under the direction of
There's
David Madul.
Vin Candelora, our state rep, and Mike Paulus, our town manager.
The mayor not far behind, just stopping on the sidelines to say hi to a few folks and shake some hands. And
oh, there
you see Mayor Candelora.
Grand Marshal William James.
And it looks like he's gonna out pass the Mustang. Look at that, the mayor beat a Mustang.
Mayor's getting in shape. Last year he wasn't running at all. This year he's running now. It's
beautiful Mustang convertible. And there's some lovely young ladies here. Waving to the spectators here.
Mayor Anthony Candelora, State Representative Vincent Candelora, and Town Manager Michael Paulus.
Any better?
There's some veterans coming up, and of course that's why we're here today, to remember all those veterans who gave their lives so that we can enjoy the liberties and freedoms here that we enjoy in the greatest country on the earth, the United States of America. Some veterans coming through here on the parade route.
That makes it easy. Don't leave yet. You adjust as I
And you know, earlier this weekend, the rain was a threat at some other parades. Some of them had a few sprinkles and passing showers. But Frank, you must have pull with Mother Nature because it's perfect here today.
It's beautiful. I wish it was like this. I coach baseball at the high school, and I wish it was like this for the spring, because we got rained out and moved and rescheduled constantly. And you know, but today it's beautiful. I'm listening to the news this morning. They said we were supposed to get some passing showers, but it doesn't look like they're going to pass during the parade, so we should be good.
Some of these folks we see on the screen, I would assume, must be a junior military or something, because the kids there are certainly too young to be in the armed forces.
Yeah, it looks like one of our youth groups.
Once again, folks, it's our Grand Marshal.
Just cuts out.
William James, and he's driving in the 1966 Mustang, driven by Steve Alagas.
You're just introducing near the podium William James, the Grand Marshal. William's like a a tradition in town. He's 103 or 104 years old.
Wow.
And he has written books on the economy, and he was a professor and a teacher, and he's one of our town legends.
It's certainly what makes North Branford the town, the great town that it is. And as you heard the announcers say on the reviewing stand, the beautiful
Bobby
convertible
Green's
Mustang driven by
Adriana Meadows and a car
local
driven by Susan Ellis.
resident Steve Aleos. We're about
Members
to
of
see
VFW Post 8294, led by Post Commander Robert Ellis and Pete Campbell.
there we go on the screen, one of those Humvees that were made famous during Desert Storm, I'm sure, and continue to be used.
The Marine Cadets of America, led by Captain DiBiase.
Much better, thank you.
You know, Frank, a lot of folks have barbecues and car sales and mattress sales this weekend, as is usual, but hopefully everyone remembers the reason why we are here today is for those who gave their lives.
A military vehicle.
Yeah, a lot
Driven
of times,
by Mark
with
Severino.
with the hot dog roast and the cookouts and everything, we forget the real reason that we're here. And like you say, it's to honor these people who have given their lives or even served. It's something special for the United States. We can do it on a local level. It's beautiful. I know a lot of the smaller towns, they don't have parades, they don't have the people, and you know, North Branford has always been able to do that. So
driven by Tim Helrick.
it's a tribute to the town.
You can see the reviewing stand about to come into view behind that giant military tow truck. Right over here, again, opposite the Northford store, intersection of 17 and 22. Sizable crowd on the green area over there.
The UI Clean Energy car, driven by Joe Barron.
And as you heard, the UI part of the parade with their clean energy car. And we don't actually have a parade lineup, Frank, so it's kind of a surprise for us. We just never know who's going to come next.
Yeah, it's. I'm sitting here looking, and I'm saying, okay, let me see what's going to be next. There's some kids enjoying the parade, which is always nice, and you know, they got their sunglasses on. So as we said before, it's a beautiful day, and what a better way to spend it than at a parade, remembering those who have worked so hard to make our country what it is.
We want to thank the fine folks, the owners of the Northford Country Store, for allowing us to park our mobile unit right in front of their store. Something we see every year at the parades too. Those carts with an amazing amount of
the Connecticut Solar
balloons
Challenge
and
car
all kinds of stuff. How they
Michael.
fit all that on that one little cart, Frank, I don't know, but
Well, it's not easy. I'm used to fitting a lot of little stuff on a big stuff, but they're fitting big stuff in a small stuff. So this must be youth basketball here with the North Branford youth basketball with they're dribbling. They're ready to play.
And the question is, one day will one of those folks be on the Knicks or the Celtics?
I don't want to offend anybody, but probably not. But we hope they can at least play for the high school team, and that'll make us happy.
Maybe UConn.
It's nice to see the youth taking part in it too, the youth programs, because it's important to let the young kids know, what this is all about.
You got to give credit to the little fellow there. Look at
he missed, almost rolled around the rim and out.
That's the first time I've ever seen somebody shoot a ball at a moving hoop.
Well, that's good practice, because then when the hoop stops, they should be really good.
There's a little fellow there riding the USS Tucson, miniature of the Tucson. About to see the Knights of Columbus, Tucket Council.
Oh, there you go.
Frank, you must know some of these folks.
I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus, but I haven't switched over to the North Branford Council. And I'm just trying to see if I recognize any of them. I know a couple of guys that are in that council, but maybe they're not marching. One of the guys is Al Teixeira, and he's probably throwing candy around because he leaves the parade just to take care of the kids. And
whose nephew is in the Navy, this flows in his honor. Once again, Stacy Apelli.
Flags everywhere here today, as they should be on Memorial Day. Members of the KFC waving to the crowd.
You know, being in the truck, I'm missing stealing all the candy from the kids, because all these groups throw candy out to the kids, and I'm usually, you know, I have a grandson now, so I could send him out and have him fill his pockets so I have something to eat for the next couple of days. But
well, maybe you can get your wife to run out.
Yeah, my daughter's taking pictures, so we should be good.
A staple of parades, of course, are the fife and drum corps. Perhaps we can give a little listen to the fife and drum corps here at the Memorial Day Parade.
The Connecticut Blues First Division Fife and Drum Band.
You know, that's a dying art too with the fife and drum corps. You don't see as many as you used to see.
That's the Connecticut Blues Drum Corps out of Durham. Oh, you're right, Frank. Certainly not what it once was. And the Cub Scouts from North Branford about to, there we see on the screen, making their way past the reviewing stand.
Cub Scouts Pack 462 from Northford.
As you heard, Pack 462, and who hasn't been in the Cub Scouts? I was in, remember the Pinewood Derby as a kid, Frank?
Boy Scout troop
I haven't been in the Cub Scouts. I'm one of those few that was never in the Cub Scouts. I was in the Girl Scouts for a while, but my mother was a troop leader, so I had to go to all the meetings with her and my older sister. By that time, I wasn't a good experience being in the Girl Scouts. So.
Well, at least you had the cookies. Here's some additional scouts coming by, some Boy Scouts.
Boy Scout Troop 463 from Northford.
You know, one of the things I always like about parades are the classic vehicles. And being that this is an agricultural town, great to see a classic pickup there. An antique coming through the parade here. Beautiful, beautiful red pickup truck.
Yeah, that's
Boy Scout Troop
that's
633 from
I wonder how
North
old that
Branford.
is. Kids are sitting in the back, waving to the crowd. Those are kids. They should be walking.
Members
That's a General
of
Motors,
Branford
by the way, if you
Little
saw
League.
the sign on the side, GM. And some additional classic vehicles. There's a beautiful black Thunderbird, I believe, Frank, if I'm not
That's what
mistaken.
it looks like. You know your cars. I'm looking to read it off the side to see what it is, and you're yelling out what these cars are.
Look at the fuzzy dice.
Is the next one a
Tom and
Camaro?
Marion Smith at age
Beautiful Corvette.
Oh, Corvette. I was
Close,
close. I had
yeah.
the C word.
Nice Corvette. And this is, looks like a GTO, which stands for Gran Turismo Homologado if you're a car buff.
Tom Lettuce.
Beautiful convertible
In a
Corvette. The
1956
GTO you'll
Thunderbird.
see in just a moment behind the vet.
If you can give me the spelling of the Gran Turismo Avogado, I'll write it down, because I always like to learn something, and I never knew that.
I used to be a gearhead going to cruise nights, and I always wondered what GTO stood for. So
I never even thought of, never wondered it. No, never.
one of those useless facts,
1968
unless you're
GTO.
a Pontiac enthusiast, of course. Another classic or
Will
antique car.
Scalia driving a 1960 Austin Healey Sprite.
Now, Frank, being the publisher of the Tutucket Times, I almost picture you running to a press conference
in
one of a vehicle like this that says
Roadster,
Tutucket Times on the side, no?
Yeah, I used to have a sign on the side of my car that said Tutucket Times, but it got egged so many times that I finally took it down and said I'll travel as quietly as possible.
Under the radar.
In the 1929 Franklin Speedster, we have Alan Farkash.
Wide variety of classic muscle cars.
Bill and Judy Newbig in a 1930 Model A pickup truck.
Ah, love that paint job. That's unique. That little love bug there.
And that black car, was that a Pontiac? I think my father had one of those.
Driving the 1950 Ford Coupe, we have Butch and Pat.
Might have been a Ford Coupe. I'm not sure.
And in the 1974 VW Super Beetle, we have Michael Russo.
The VW bringing back the flower power era. Peace in Woodstock.
There's Tom Smith's CKA, Chinese Kempo Academy. You know, teaching the youngsters discipline and dexterity and all those things that that are important. Self-defense, but I'm told self-defense is the last thing.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You know, they want to teach them the discipline and
right. Some young karate kids about to come by here. Who can forget Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kids, speaking of karate.
Yeah. Yeah, the Karate Kids were something we all watched when we were youngsters.
Yep.
Karate Kids aren't Karate Kids anymore, I think. The original Karate Kids, 40, 45.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio.
Tom Smith's Chinese Kempo Academy.
They start them early because I met a parent of one of the kids. My daughter's a teacher in Jerome Harrison School, and she teaches kindergarten, and one of her students is going to be marching with the karate group. So they start young.
Walter Mann here along with Frank Mentone, publisher of the Tutucket Times, at the North Branford Memorial Day Parade 2014, and we're about to hear in just a few seconds, you might be able to hear it coming up, the North Branford High School Band, and we'll give a listen when they get by the reviewing stand area here.
There's the youth lacrosse program. High School Band is under the direction of Kathy Trainer. It's doing a great job. They just ran some fundraisers to get uniforms. These aren't the uniforms that they got. They haven't gotten them yet, but that's the next step for more competitive events and stuff. And they needed to raise like $22,000 for uniforms, and she's done a great job. I understand she's pretty close to the gold.
Terrific news, and certainly they are phenomenal at what they do, so can't wait till they look all spiffy in those new uniforms, which I'm sure are just around the corner.
The North Branford High School Band under the direction of John Tetzo.
You hear the announcer in the background up on the reviewing stand. Here are the Girl Scouts. Speaking of Girl Scouts, I want some cookies. Making me hungry here, Frank.
Yeah, my wife hides the Girl Scout cookies in my house because I'm not supposed to eat them. Those of you who know me know why. And here we are for the first time doing this. And we're sitting in this small truck. And I'm starting to get claustrophobic, but any car for me is small, so it's... At least it's air conditioned, so we're getting some cool air.
Well, perhaps sometime Tutucket Times will have a float. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Kids of all ages here today, folks of all ages, infants on up, enjoying the weather, the parade, and all the sights and sounds here today.
Troop 60139, leader Melissa Kowalski and Fallon Smith.
And you know, it's amazing, Frank. A lot of other towns that used to be heavily in terms of
Troop 60311.
economy based in agriculture, and that's vanished in a lot of towns. But North Brantford's still pretty strong with an agricultural base.
Yeah, the town tries to maintain it. I mean, obviously you have to get some businesses and stuff for tax purposes, but they try and remain a town with the farming and the agriculture.
The North Brantford Potato and Corn Festival.
This gentleman here on the tractor is very involved in the town. He's at all town meetings and Board of Ed meetings and stuff. And I'm terrible with names, and I know his name every day of the year. And right now, as the parade is going on, it's blank. So I'll apologize to him.
Well, it was once the backbone of the area, the agricultural.
It's funny, we used to take a trip to Pennsylvania every year and drive the kids. When I grew up in New Haven, and when I got married, we first lived in East Haven, drive the kids out to Pennsylvania and see all the cornfields and everything else. And now, you know, I moved to North Brantford, and I said I went all the way to Pennsylvania. I could have seen this, 5 minutes away from my house. So it's
driving a 1956 Farmall 400. He's pulling a 1955 Farmall truck
And I
tractor.
just heard the gentleman on the podium. His name was Cliff Potter, the person I was speaking about before.
Quite an array of different tractors here, and there are a lot of serious tractor collectors all across the country.
1947 Farmall M.
You know what they do now in North Brantford a couple of times a year? They used to just do it like at carnivals and stuff, but they have tractor pulls in town now. And
Wow.
Cliff's one of the guys that's instrumental in it, and they get a decent crowd out there to watch the tractor pulls.
Leading up the final contingent of tractors you're about to see, the yellow and green John Deere. And
Davis Sola.
John Deere, of course,
behind the wheel, the 1953
really
Super H.
an iconic American brand. Been around for many, many, many decades. And there's a prime example of the
Gerald Adinolfi. He's driving a 1957
icon that is John Deere.
Farmall 230. Gerald Adinolfi, 1955 Farmall 400.
classic, I believe, a Mack truck coming up right on the screen there.
Michael
No,
Adinolfi.
Ford, I'm sorry,
He's driving a
Ford.
1954 Super Farmall M.
And they're saying most of these tractors are 1954, 55, so they keep them in pretty good shape to
Dean
be
Heath
driving them like
in
that.
the Series 70 1954 John Deere tractor.
It must have been the big year for tractors, 54, 55, 56.
And finally, the truck driven by Shane Doomhall, the 1955 Ford F600.
Luckily, all the folks here today that have their umbrellas have so for
Courtesy
shade
of
from the
RJ
sun and
Shore.
don't need to worry about inclement weather. Beautiful day weather-wise. Lots of folks out here remembering those who gave their lives for our country. And don't go anywhere. Parade's not done yet. We've got some more participants on the way here to the reviewing area.
It's another fife and drum corps coming up, I guess.
This is the Landcraft Fife and Drum from North Haven, well over 100 years old.
The Landcraft Fife and
Well-known
Drum
Fife and Drum Corps. It appears at a lot of local parades and is, again, well over 100 years old. I think approaching 120 years almost. Sizable crowd. You can see behind the reviewing stand. Those are some of the parade participants that have already passed by that are gathering on the green area here at the intersection of 17 and 22 in the Northford section here of North Brantford. Fire department coming up, Frank.
Yeah, there's I think in the 25 years I've lived in town, There's always Anthony Esposito right there in the center, and usually next to him is Burt Bunnell. Usually the two are always together.
Now Esposito is the finance director as well, right?
Yes, as well for the town. And
one of the pristine apparatus here in North Branford. Rescue 1 along with, I guess, Boat 1, or at least the rescue boat, nonetheless.
North Branford continues to have a volunteer program. It's the volunteer firefighters, and they do a great job.
Top-notch apparatus, no doubt, for a town of North Branford size, being on the smaller scale compared to, say, Hamden or Wallingford or East Haven or Branford, but yet top-notch, tip-top fire apparatus. And there we see the rescue boat, and coming up behind that in just a second, you'll see Tower 1. There aren't too many tall buildings in North Branford, but I'm sure what does exist can easily be covered by that Tower 1 truck, Frank.
Yeah, if you have one, you need a truck like that. It's it's a safety thing, and that's a nice. I think that's a recent acquisition, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to guess that's a Diamond Rio. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing because of the diamond-shaped logo or insignia on the front. Don't quote me on that. But engine 3. And now, Frank, North Branford's always been red or red and white in terms of the fire apparatus, right?
Yes, as far back as I remember, that's been the color. The school colors are purple, yeah. But
we wouldn't want purple fire.
No, that wouldn't be a good deal.
Well, New Haven, of course, has all white. North Haven lime yellow. Branford has some yellow ones and some red. So I guess it depends where you go. North Branford ambulance too is critical and part of the community. Don't know what we do without them, actually.
Yeah, they're on the spot. I was sick one night and then called, and they were there in like by 3-4 minutes. And
wow.
It was like I was asking, gee, do they live next door to me or something? They got there so quick. And
they're volunteer, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Fortunately, I live to tell the story, but
the parade itself wrapping up, but we are heading over to the reviewing stand. I'm sure we'll hear some comments from some of the dignitaries here today. As you can see, some of the emergency personnel in town there as well, some clergy. And the monument there.
At this time, folks, the North Branford Band will lead us in our national anthem.
And certainly apropos to hear our national anthem. Let's give a listen. The North Branford High School Band, great job there.
And I'd like to turn the microphone over to Father Robert Turner, representing both St. Augustine's and St. Monica's.
The great French preacher Lacordaire once said that the vocation of a soldier is next in dignity to the priesthood, not only because it commissioned him to defend justice on the field of battle and order on the field of peace, but also because it called him to the spirit and intention of sacrifice. It is today that we recall the lives of the countless men and women who have lost their lives in defense of order and tranquility in our world. The noble defense of what is virtuous in our society and the deep desire to ensure stability at home and abroad. Over the centuries of our land's existence as a nation, caused some to provide the ultimate sacrifice, that of their own lives. As we begin this day of remembrance for those who have gone before us in this way, we commend them to the all-good and merciful God, reminding ourselves, war must be, while we defend our lives against a destroyer who would devour all. But we do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its sharpness, nor the warrior for his glory. We love only that good which they defend.
Right now, I'd like to call up to the microphone our veteran of honor, World War I Army Air Intelligence, Dr. William James.
That works too? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Representative Vandelera, town manager, and it's a great, and all the people here in Northwood. It is a delightful day to be here with you. Okay.
There you go. Try that.
Memorial Day is a day for honoring many millions of our men and women who have served our nation in many wars. There have, in November 1941, in 2 newspaper articles, I forecast that that Japan would soon attack the United States. 3 weeks later, in a surprise attack at Pearl Harbor, Japan attacked, and the United States was at war. I enlisted and served in that war. I served as a combat intelligence officer. I served as a combat intelligence officer with 2 20th Air Force bomb squadrons with bases in the United States, India, China, Australia, and on Tinian Island in the Western Pacific. Tinian Island was only 39 square miles in size, but on it there was North Field, and North Field was the base from which 2 atomic bombs were sent against Japan and ended the war. Since World War II, there have been other wars, and we've had many brave men and women serving in those wars. There were wars in Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iran, and others. Now we are here on Memorial Day to remember all our veterans on all the wars. Those veterans served the nation in many places. They served in many lands. They fought and died in various nations, on the sea and in the air. They did so to preserve our great nation. It seems appropriate today to mention also some of our civilian people, our servants, our civil servants, and the police, the fire departments, the health services, in education, the postal workers, and others who have helped to keep this nation strong. And this is highly important. The strength and power of the United States is needed because we are in an era of rising dangers from within and without. As we look at the situation today, we need every bit of strength, national strength that we can have. And we should try to have our people, people who are living, do everything they can to build our nation. Our armed forces did what they could to preserve it. Now, we, the living, must do what we can to improve it. I urge you to think about what you can do to improve, to build the employment of the people in this nation, build our industries, build our educational and health services, build our technologies, and build every industry which will strengthen this nation. Our servicemen in many lands and in many services did what they could to preserve the nation. Now we, the living, must do what we can to build it and make it ever stronger and improve the lives of our people. This is the mission that we must undertake in honor of our many servicemen in all our services who fought and died to preserve this nation. I thank you very much.
Nice job, thank you.
Once again, folks, our veteran of honor, World War I Army Air Intelligence, Dr. William James. Right now, I'd like to introduce State Representative Vincent Candelora.
Thank you, Dr. James. You are truly an inspiration. It's an honor to be able to stand at this podium with you. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, I want to first just start out by thanking the VFW for putting this Memorial Day Parade together to honor the extraordinary acts that our men and women sacrificed for our nation. This weekend, I had the pleasure of going to Battleship Cove and sleeping on the USS Massachusetts with our Boy Scout and Cub Scout packs 453 and 455. And at that event, there was a veteran there, 92 years old. He served on the USS Massachusetts for its entire commissioning. And one thing I learned is that these veterans on the USS Massachusetts after World War II returned every year to celebrate a reunion, to honor those men and women that sacrificed their lives in World War II. That reunion continued on, and when the United States government was about to decommission the ship, these group of individuals got together to save that ship and brought it to Massachusetts, where it sits today as a museum. And thousands of people go there to be able to honor the memory of our fallen. And it's extraordinary that this one gentleman goes every Saturday to speak to our young boys and girls to talk about his experiences serving on a battleship. We've now entered an age where there are no longer battleships in combat, but it truly is a phenomenal experience to be able to hear and feel what our men and women went through in the earlier times of war. And we've now are facing certainly different enemies and different types of combat. And so I thank the men and women who serve in our armed forces and air forces and in the Navy to help protect this country. And I also thank all of the veterans to continue to share your stories to our young so that they too can appreciate the sacrifice that our men and women have gone through. God bless America.
Thank you, State Representative Candelora. Right now, it is North Branford Mayor Anthony Candelora.
Good morning. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the VFW, Dr. James, and all of you for coming out today. I'd like to thank you all for allowing me the honor to join you on this very special day. Let me also say what an honor it is to share this day in the presence of so many proud veterans and their families. On behalf of the citizens of North Branford, I thank all those veterans here today for your noble service to our nation. Since the first observation of Memorial Day in 1868, it has become a sacred tradition for Americans to come together and remember our veterans, both past and present. In this order, to establish this day of remembrance, General John Logan said it would be a day to cherish the memory of our heroic dead who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foe. That is the reason we gather here today. We are joined together as a great town with great people who have a special love and appreciation for our veterans. Our town owes its very existence to the military, so it's no surprise that we in North Branford have a special place in the hearts for Memorial Day. God bless all our veterans, their families, and all of you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Candelora. At this time, if you can turn your attention to the monument by the flagpole. For the VFW Memorial Service.
As long as two comrades survive, so long will the veterans of foreign wars of the United States render tribute to our heroic dead. Comrades, attention! On this day, forever consecrated to our heroic dead, we are assembled once again to express sincere reverence. This monument represents the resting places of many departed comrades who served in all wars. Wherever the body of a comrade lies, hallowed. Our presence here is in solemn commemoration of all these men, an expression of our tribute to their devotion to duty, to their courage and patriotism. By their service on land, on sea, and in the air, they have made us their debtors. For the flag of our nation still flies over a land of people. Parade rest. Comrade Chaplain, you will ask the divine blessing. Please remove your hats. Father of us all, in the depth of our silent reverence, we realize the truth of the inspired words. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, shall live forever. As comrade after comrade departs, we march on with our ranks growing thinner. Help us to be faithful unto thee and to one another. Look in mercy on the widows and children of our departed comrades, we beseech thee. And with thine own tenderness console and comfort those who are bereaved. Heavenly Father, bless our country with freedom, peace, and righteousness, though thy favor may meet and last before thine throne in heaven. We praise thy great name forever and ever. Amen.
Attention. Officers and members of Northford Post 8294, veterans of foreign wars of the United States, we will now pay our respects to our departed comrades. In so doing, we offer solemn tribute to all comrades wherever they may rest. Comrade Senior Vice Commander.
On behalf of Post 8294, veterans of foreign wars in the United States, I place this symbol of our remembrance.
Comrade Junior Vice Commander.
I place this symbol of purity on this comrade's grave. May each future generation emulate the unselfish courage of all men and women who fought for freedom.
Comrade Officer of the Day.
In memory of the heroic dead who have fallen in defense of the United States of America, I place this tribute of our devotion and everlasting remembrance.
Madam President of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
On behalf of the Ladies Auxiliary, Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, I place this emblem of eternity. Its colors bespeak life's everlasting. Thus we immortalize the brave deeds of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, who have given their lives on land, on sea, and in the air.
On behalf of our glorious republic, for whose integrity our comrades enlisted and served, I place this emblem of the nation, the flag of our country. Its glorious colors shall wave over them in death as in life, for everyone to behold. To you comrades who have departed, we render a silent salute. Comrades, present arms. Comrades in the silent land beyond, wherever your mortal remains may rest, these solemn services we hold in tribute to you. Order on. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done. Once again, I'd like to call to the podium Father Robert Turner with our benediction.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we come before you seeking a proper and just society built on virtue and order. In the course of our nation's history, many men and women have given the ultimate sacrifice of their lives in service to this nation. We pray that their sacrifice may not have been in vain as we seek to build communities of peace, having at their foundation truth and justice. As we go forth to remember all those who died in service to our nation, we entrust them to your loving embrace, that they may find their eternal home. May you bless our nation, our state, our local town communities, and guide it by the course of your loving providence. Amen.
Thank you, Father Turner. Just a couple of announcements before you wrap up. Company 2 Firehouse. Company 2 has invited everyone down for refreshments. Also, VFW Post 8294 on Middletown Avenue. They're having a cookout, and we're all invited. That concludes this morning's ceremony. Thank you for coming out, folks. Have a safe Memorial Day 2014. Thank you.
Great.
Before we go, we'd like to honor those that have passed with the playing of taps.
And what a fitting way to wrap up the 2014 North Branford Memorial Day Parade on this beautiful day weather-wise. We remember those who gave their lives for our country here on Memorial Day. That's what it's all about. As Old Glory blows in the wind here in North Branford. And we want to thank you for joining us today, Frank Mentone from the Tucket Times. Frank, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great to be a part of this and on this level. And I always, when I hear the taps, get goosebumps. It's just a fitting tribute to end the parade ceremonies.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, thank you at home as well for joining us here onto our Memorial Day coverage here in North Branford, right here on North Branford's very own TV station, Tucket TV. So long for Memorial Day 2014.